One of the biggest lessons that I learned during my personal dating journey is that less is more when it comes to attraction and success with women. I used to think that the harder that I tried, the more effort that I put in when I was talking to the girl, the more excited she'd be, the more receptive she'd be, and the higher the likelihood would be that she would actually want to see me. But actually, the opposite is true. The less you try, the more attractive you are. The less you put in effort, the more invested the girl is going to be in the interaction. So just last weekend, I was actually on a date night with my girlfriend at a restaurant called SDK. It's a really good steakhouse in New York and Miami. And as I was watching the couple in front of me, who was very likely on a first date, I noticed something very interesting. The guy was doing all of the work. He was leaning in like this. He was doing 98% of the talking. He was nervously fidgeting his hands underneath the table, and he was carrying the entire load of that interaction. Now, the woman that he was on a date with, she was kind of just passively chilling back, not saying much, just nodding her head, and honestly, not even really that engaged or interested in that interaction. And very likely what happened was that when they first met, she probably was excited to see him. Maybe they met off an app potentially, or a mutual friend. She got ready for the date. She put in the time to show up there. She made plans to see this guy. But when the date actually began, and this guy leaned into trying too hard and overcompensating and putting in all this work, she slowly began to pull back herself and go into herself. So instead of feeling like she could really open up to him and drop into her feminine energy and really actually connect with this guy, potentially even sexually more than just emotionally, she just kind of withdrew. She stopped engaging as much with him, and he just kind of became this entertainer that was doing all of the work. Now, I'm not just giving you this example because this is like a one-time occurrence that I saw with my girlfriend. This is something that I saw over and over and over again with guys that I work with inside of the accelerator. Is we do something called golden interaction training, where guys get to practice with real beautiful women, like gorgeous women, like 9s and 10s, the type of women that likely would make you very nervous. Now, these women, because they're so attractive, they bring up all of the insecurities and all of the kind of these nice guy nervous tendencies inside of you that normally maybe wouldn't come up around women that you're not that attracted to, right? Around women that are kind of mediocre to you or average. So what I see happening again and again on these calls is our clients trying way too hard, talking too fast, rushing in their communication, doing most of the work in terms of carrying the conversation. And look, as a guy, absolutely you should be the leader. You should be the one steering the conversation forward. You should be the one navigating and directing the topics that you talk about. If you want to change the topic, you should change the topic. If you want to start to create a little bit more tension or flirt, you should absolutely do that. But it shouldn't be on you to carry the entire burden of the interaction, right? You probably have had that scenario yourself if you're, a successful guy that has been on dates with women, that has maybe went out to bars to meet women with your friends. You've probably experienced the case of you're the one approaching, you're the one asking the question, you're the one carrying the conversation, you're the one asking the girl, what does she like to do for fun? Where is she from? What does she do for work, right? All of the stuff that you're likely doing to keep things going, and that really probably just feels like a fucking performance to you. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like it's, that you're in flow, that she's receptive and investing in the conversation. It feels like you're the one trying just way too fucking hard. Okay? So how do we fix this? The way that we fix this is, number one, you want to become aware of the fact that you are performing, that you're in what I call doing mode, right? You're the one that is doing way too much when you're talking to women, and that this amount of doing is not helping you. It is not creating more attraction. It is actually repelling the woman that otherwise would have been into you. Okay, so identifying the pattern is number one, just being aware of it in the moment. From there, you want to surrender, right? You want to drop in to your body. You want to start to feel your body, feel your legs on the ground, feel your stomach, feel the emotions that are coming up around her, and begin to just be. Okay? Being is a much more attractive way of being than doing. I noticed this through my own journey is, at first I was in this state of constant avoidance. I couldn't talk to women. I didn't know what to say. I was always super nervous and in my head, and I would just miss opportunities because I was in this state of avoidance. But eventually I got to a point where I was doing, I was performing, I was acting, I was trying too hard, and I was putting in all this effort to approach and to get more numbers and to basically go through the song and dance of having success with women. But I had a ceiling that I hit. I realized that a certain caliber of girl, especially the really pretty women that I wanted, they weren't responding to this amount of doing. They weren't responding to the trying energy, to the effort. What they responded to was to being. They responded to a guy that was calm, that was relaxed, that was grounded, that was in his body, right? That was kind of just there. And then this presence that I began to develop and exude when I talk to women allowed them to lean into me. It allowed them to become more feminine, to become more, even more reactive to me. And they kind of began to fall into my frame instead of me being always in their frame. So if you are feeling like you're a guy that maybe has some decent social skills, maybe you're gone on some dates, you're able to have interactions with women, but you're constantly over and over again falling into this pattern of doing, of leaning in, of trying too hard, of being this performing, dancing monkey, and you're tired of that, right? You want to get to that next level in terms of your confidence, your interaction skills with women, and you're also a guy that's successful, right? You make good money, you've got a good business, maybe you're a professional, you're an executive, and you want to really dial this in so that you can get your dream girl, because that's exactly what I help guys with. That's what I talk about on our channel, is how elite, successful guys like you can attract their ideal women. What I invite you to do, click the link below. Go ahead, check out our 7-minute documentary on the new way to attract women. Apply for the accelerator, book in a call with me, and let's see what we can do to support you.